a great day when you're hanging around. Nothing's ever gonna bring me down. Good times are coming our way. Whenever, wherever, whatever today.
Today is going to be a great day. I am Nikki G, your host. Welcome to the Lone Doctrine, the food for thought exploration station, and your place in making today better than yesterday. We ended last month with a releasing of control exercise. It was a little out there. It was for me too, but I was mostly putting into action a practice of something that might seem unfamiliar or different and remaining open to the process. Every month we pick a topic, and the last 2 months we explored the ins and outs of feeling lost. When one of the ins or outs was control, the need for control, and sometimes how control being the very thing that's working against us and not for us. So, this month our topic is control. What do I mean by control? I'm not talking about the aspects in life we can control, but more so the inner workings of life that we sometimes can't control, but try to control. There's a prayer my grandma used to say, and whether or not you're religious, it doesn't matter, but it makes a good point. I believe it's the serenity prayer, and part of it says, "Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." Now, this is the Lone Doctrine for a reason. It's not a religious podcast. It's not most things. It's not this or that, but a place of exploration to find what works for you. We sometimes in life, especially when life gets tough, have a hard time accepting change. We become fearful to create change. And sometimes it's hard to see that we should make a change. See what I did there? I'll be completely candid. I'm a bit of a control freak, and I'm coming to find that although it's given me a lot of success in life, it also might be holding me back. So, that's why I started to practice releasing control as we did in the last episode. If you haven't taken a listen, please do. It's really strange, but it was the deeper lesson that was important and the practice that was really important. Before we get into how to release control, I wanted to touch base on something we're all going through right now. There is a lot happening in the world. One of the things that's most present in our lives is the coronavirus. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not someone that can advise you medically, but I hope by being here that I could put some ease. I would like to just put out some food for thought and a reminder to all our listeners. We've come to understand that this is a struggle against our habits and not against a virus. This is an opportunity to turn an emergency into an opportunity for solidarity and unity. Let's try and change the way we see and think. Let's no longer put ourselves in a state of hysteria and say, "I am afraid of this contagion," or "I don't care about this contagion," but it is who I will sacrifice for. I worry about you. I keep distance for you. I wash my hands for you. I give up that trip for you. I'm not going to the concert for you. I'm not going to the mall for you, for you. For you who are old and frail, but whose life has value as much as mine. For you who are struggling with cancer and can't fight this too. For anyone who has a compromised immune system, I want to remind everyone to rise to the challenge, to come together, because it's not just about us, it's about everyone. We want everyone to be safe. We want everyone to practice good hygiene, and we just want to put those reminders out there that your mindset through something like this with so much uncertainty is so important. And we hope by continuing to be here every single week, we can give you that food for thought to keep your mind on the right track. Before we get into how to release control and gain perspective on when to release and when to make good choices, let's explore control itself. The type of control in our personal lives, not necessarily literal control. Almost our entire lives are spent in a quest to gain control, security, and comfort in our lives, especially now. Unfortunately, we never really completely get it, so we keep trying relentlessly. This is one of the main activities of our lives. What would happen if we stopped? We could be less restricted by fear, less anxious, less driven by the need for comfort, and more in love with life as it is. You might be surprised by how much we strive for control. The basic nature of life is that it's ever-changing, uncontrollable. When we think we have stability in life, something comes up to remind us that no, we don't. There is no stability no matter how much we'd like it. And this kind of freaks us out. We don't like this feeling of instability, of uncertainty, of loss of control. So we do things to cope out of love for ourselves. These are strategies for control, security, and comfort. Some examples among many. We go on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Pinterest, because doing so is comfortable and feels like we know what we're doing. We make a to-do list or even try out an entire productivity or organizational system because it feels like we're getting things under control. We clean, we declutter, we tackle emails because it's out of control, and getting it under control sounds much like less anxiety inducing. We procrastinate on a project that fills us with uncertainty and procrastinate with our favorite distractions, which have less uncertainty for us. We get frustrated with other people, even angry, because they're acting in a way we don't like. So creating a story in our own minds about how horrible they are and how right we are and how life would be better if they just X helps us feel under control. We try to organize the apps on our phone. We plan. We research. We buy books. We sign up for classes. We make resolutions. We create systems. We try to gain control over our health. We shop. We eat for comfort. Drugs make us feel like we're controlling our state of mind, including alcohol. There are thousands of examples. Examine everything you do with this lens. Is this activity a strategy for somehow gaining control? Now, I'm not saying that these strategies are bad. They help us cope with difficult feelings. Some of them result in a healthy life. They all come from a place of good intention. But it is good to be aware of the need for control, and perhaps this awareness can help us free ourselves. Why these attempts at control keep failing? So we do everything above all day long when things are feeling uncertain, uncomfortable, out of control, and unsafe. These are strategies for control, security, and comfort. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work, or it's temporary. Let's say you make a to-do list and a plan to make yourself feel under control. Now you have to do the first thing on the list. But this makes you feel uncertain because it's a difficult task and you don't know if you can do it. So you go to the easier things on the list, but the difficult task is still there. Just put it off for a bit, and then you feel bad about it. Eventually you run into distractions or you check your email so you don't have to do that difficult task. Or you start cleaning up around your desk, you make some calls. The feeling is still there though. In the back of your mind, none of those strategies have worked. Or take another scenario. You're feeling lonely. You don't want to face this feeling because it's uncomfortable and you don't feel under control. So you eat or you shop online or you watch TV. The feeling doesn't go away, so you do it again or you turn to alcohol and drugs. Maybe you get everything under control. You're organized. You have systems for everything. You're spot on with your productivity. You only have healthy habits. Congratulations, you win. Except things keep coming up that are ruining your perfect palace of control. You get anxiety until you deal with all these things and till you get control back. But when you were doing that, more things came up. People are calling, emailing, interrupting you, and you're getting irritated often because everything is getting messy. Your OCD is not resulting in a feeling of comfort and control, but just the opposite. Finally, consider that you might feel things are stable, but then someone passes away. You get injured or someone gets sick. A family crisis happens. A world crisis happens. Your company goes into crisis mode. There's a crisis in your country, in the world. Things are never under control. So you feel anguish because you thought you had stability. Luckily, we have another way, the mindful way. If life is uncontrollable, when we find ourselves in uncertainty, and because we don't like the feeling of being out of control, we do all kinds of things to seek control, but it doesn't always work. What alternative is there? We can practice mindfulness and learn to accept the uncontrollable nature of each moment. Start by just sitting still and try to pay attention to the sensations of this moment. Notice what's around you and in your body and even in your mind. Just take note of what's going on. Then notice that your mind wants to run. It wants to start planning, it wants to start worrying, and it wants to get a grasp on things. We run from this unknown, uncontrollable moment to a strategy of control. Notice this urge to run, to control, and don't act. Do nothing. Just observe and take no action. Notice how this feeling of being out of control feels. Where is the feeling located in your body? What is the sensation of it in your body? Is it one thing or changing? Investigate with curiosity. Be still with the sensation in your body. Practice with a little bit at a time for days and for weeks. You'll start to know it intimately. And then it won't be so bad. You'll learn to sit with this feeling of out of controlledness and be okay with it. You'll learn to trust it in the moment, not to lead to an outcome you want, but to turn out just fine. You'll need to do fewer things to get under control to get comfort. You'll still do some of them because no one ever truly masters this idea of control, but you'll need it less. And then what? What's left when we don't try to control? Love. We still act, but not out of a need for control. We act out of love for others and ourselves. This is the other way. This may have all made perfect sense, but you might also be thinking, this is a little far-fetched. I can't just poof, be more aware and everything is quote-unquote love. Maybe, maybe not, because I know I've felt the same way, but in feeling that way, having a glass half empty mentally, even just out of frustration, not a lack of faith, it's hard to think that if I just let everything go, everything will be fine. The fact is, it will, and it won't. As mentioned, life is ever changing, but by constantly being in a state of desiring control, you're pushing away the bad and not allowing life to just be, to flow, to love. I've come to a point in my life where this is my next step. The step in releasing control and trusting that my actions, my hard work, and my constant pursuit of betterment will in fact lead me towards an awesome life. It is really hard. I go back and forth and get so frustrated. Why isn't this working? Why can't I get this project off the ground? How are other people doing it? Why? Instead of looking outward, maybe it's time for us to look inward. This month, in this moment in time, we're going to take action and start practicing releasing control. And I have a feeling that all kinds of awesomeness will come from us taking this next step. And I'm so grateful to have you with me as we explore control. We've had a lot of people asking how they can support our mission. We're so grateful to be able to be with you each and every week. And if you found value in our podcast, head on over to patreon.com/Lone Doctrine. It only takes a moment of your time. And with your support, you'll get bonus episodes, more interviews, giveaways, and you'll become part of our awesome community. Together, we are better, and we hope to see you at Patreon, patreon.com/Lone Doctrine. Remember, anything you can't control is teaching you how to let go. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.
It's a great day.